Not sure if many of you know, but we do have a virtual tier within the Design Coven, virtual pro member tier, which includes 3 virtual meetings a month where we set intentions. We do group coaching. So bring all your questions. We answer those questions and you get to learn from other people going through the same struggles as you. We also do a business practice meeting. So we'll have somebody on to share a business practice that we can all benefit from. And then we also do a product training. So getting a sustainable, eco-friendly line to come on, share who they are so that we can be supported with other like-minded businesses. And if you're not quite ready for pro, you can always join our free community where you will connect with other like-minded holistic interior designers. You don't have to be an interior designer if you are kind of just dabbling or you're aspiring or you're looking into this field. We invite everybody from all journeys, and you don't, again, have to be a designer. You don't have to have a degree. We're just a beautiful community of like-minded people looking to create healing spaces, not just for ourselves, but for our clients and future clients. Come join us at designcoven.com/join. Hello, welcome back to the Holistic Interior Design Business Podcast. We are on episode 70, and we've got JoAnn with us today. We are doing a design refresh, design consultation on her home office. So you all get to kind of jump in the boat with me and hear how I do my consultations. And if you're listening not as a designer and just curious about my process, you get to experience that here with myself and JoAnn. You're listening to the Holistic Interior Design Business Podcast. This is a podcast that guides you as a new or inspiring independent interior designer navigating your entrepreneurial path. Here, with my over 20 years experience, I will share my holistic approach to design with intention and ancient practices, including feng shui, all incorporating mind, body, and spirit into my design projects. You will also learn from seasoned interior designers as they give strategies and insight of how they built their businesses and continue to work in the field. Together, we will discover supportive trade partners, new ideas, creatives, and inspiring artists from around the world. I am your host, Rachel Larraine Crawford. Hello. We have a design refresh today with JoAnn, and we're going to be taking a look at her personal office space. So before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and create our sacred space by lighting our candle. This is a great ritual too, JoAnn. It looks like you work from home, is that right?
Yes.
This is a beautiful way to open space when you're going into work. So like if you know that you have a day where you need to get some things done, or you just really want to bring your magic into your work, by lighting a candle and setting an intention for either being really focused or concentrating, or if you're working on, connection with other people, or just wanting to connect with the herbs and oils that you're burning. I just love that practice of creating that ritual. And I love candles because to me, candles and fire is just like so ancient and magical. So we've got our candle here, and I'm just setting the intention of being present with JoAnn, taking a look at her space and creating a atmosphere of support, abundance, prosperity, inspiration, and joy into her gorgeous, gorgeous space. And I'm going to ring our bell to connect us with all those energies. And then I love infusing it with a beverage of some sort. So we're bringing in that element of water. And today I am feeling super, super goddessy. I don't know why, but there's just like this beautiful goddess energy that's coming in. So maybe that's an intention that you might have to bring in this beautiful divine feminine. I have a tea called New Moon Taurus. It's a tea that Paru and I created for the new moon in Taurus. And it's got nettle leaf, raspberry leaf, rose petal, and anise. And like I said, it reminds me of the Empress card in the tarot, where she is just like in bloom and she is abundant within the earth. She's got gorgeous waters around her, the sign of Venus, her like beautiful crown of stars. And I just feel like this energy is really just coming in with both of us, and I'm going to soak it in. But JoAnn, what do you have that you're in yourself with?
I'm drinking water with lemon essential oil in it to cleanse my aura and such. So, but you're gonna have to tell me too where to get that teapot and glass. Those are gorgeous.
So pretty. So I love loose leaf tea because I feel like it really gets, everything around it. I feel like with some of the tea bags, it's almost like tea dust. You're like getting just like pieces of the plants, and this you can see the petals, you can see the leaves, and then the teapot is perfect size for me. Just make a little one, and then it's got the strainer at the top, so then it strains out. But I will send you the link for that because
yay,
magical little. These are like my tools. I'm like I don't have a lot, but the things that I do have are really, really special, and the more we use them, the more charged they are and the more sacred they become to us. And we don't need a lot of things. We just need special things that, touch us in the right way. I've also got a crystal ball here, which I never usually have.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, I have crystals all the time, but I haven't had any on the podcast, and this one was really calling. So I think we're going to get some cool insight with her. And to pull a card, I'm pulling from Radiant Crystal deck. Let's see what we got. So just a card for guidance for us, what we might need to know for JoAnn's space. Of course. Moonstone, one of my favorite. So we've got emotional balance, intuition, and soothing. So yeah, like I really see these themes coming into your space: emotional balance, intuition, and soothing. The chakra here is the sacral chakra. The vibration number is 77. So sacral is that chakra of inspiration and of creation, right? It's the water space. Astrological sign is Cancer. Affirmation: I am emotionally balanced and intuitively inspired. Ooh, okay. So we definitely, want to connect with that. I am emotionally balanced and intuitively inspired. So I definitely see that intuition coming in for inspiration. The energies here are Moonstone enhances one's intuition and introspection. It aids in raising our vibrational frequencies, creating a calm and meditative state. Associated with the moon, it can help balance monthly cycles. It is a stone of soothing and reflective energy. And she corresponds a flower here, which is the passion flower. Just heightened spiritual states and awareness. Beautiful. I love it. All right, JoAnn, so let's get into your space. Tell me about this room that you have, and what's the intention behind the room? What do you use this room for?
So this is now my office. My husband passed away on New Year's Eve, and this had been his office. And so it made sense for me to make this the office because it's just off the kitchen and the family room. And I don't know, it's a better room for an office. It's got more natural light. It's the room that I had as an office is now like my yoga and meditative space. And it's a little bit more subdued, and it's at the back of the house. So, so it's both trying to honor him, but also be able to start a business, because I shuttered my music therapy practice when we started a cancer journey about 6 years ago. So I've gotten into essential oils and sharing natural approaches, especially around sort of dealing with self-care and emotional needs around caregiving and widow life based on my own experiences. So it's a space my dogs and I spend a lot of time hanging out in, and I know it's not totally there. I think it's sort of got the right general layout, but not the right pieces yet.
Got it. Okay. And so which pieces are, so you're using this basically as your home office, and you're in here most of the day?
In and out. I also don't, I'm one of those people that I don't sit very well. So I tend to, since laptops are movable, I might go to the dining room table if I really need to spread out a project, or if I just am needing a different energy or something, I'll or move outdoors if the weather's not too hot and sticky.
Beautiful. And I'd forgotten to ask you, what part of the world are you in?
I'm in Florida.
Ah, very cool. And what does home mean to you right now?
Ooh, redefining that one because it's very different when you become single after 40 years with somebody. So,
Yeah. So you're in this transitional space.
so that was why the card just was like, oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And what do you love about this room? I know you spoke of the natural light, and I can see it on your face. It looks very pretty.
Yeah, I like the light. I like the fact that it's open to the rest of the house, and even though it has French doors, the fact that I can close it if I need to create that separation in my life, or I need to not have the dogs being part of a conversation, I can shut them out. They don't like that, but I think it feels I feel a little bit of grounding in this room.
Okay.
Because it's not like overly large.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And then, so what are the pieces that you're having trouble with, or that you're not especially liking in that space?
I don't like my desk. I don't feel like it's big enough for me to be able to spread out, a journal to work from, and my day timer and my laptop and stuff like that. I know that the wood laminate that's down is fine, but the area rugs I have, I know they're not the right size, but it's sort of like I used what we had.
Got it. Yeah.
But for now, to try to figure it out, storage is always an issue for me because I'm a collector of people and things. So.
Yeah, we're all collectors. I feel your struggle. And what are the pieces that are going to be staying in this room? What needs to stay?
Well, definitely things like the essential oils and the containers for them. The printer needs to stay. I have a fountain that's right now over there next to the printer, and I really like it. I like the sound of the water flowing, and it has a ball that spins at the top and it's lit, so it gives a little of that reflective quality. Me and the dogs, I don't know.
Okay, no, that's good. I just want to know. So basically, we can replace the desk because you spoke about that being too small. I know that you have a sitting chair in there. Does that need to stay, or do you want to replace that, or what's the significance with the chair?
The dog, my biggest dog, Oscar, is in love with that chair. That is his safe place chair when he's not on the floor cooling off. So it needs to be a comfortable chair, and I do occasionally choose to sit there, like if I'm going to read for a long time. I mean, to me, it's a little bit more comfortable to get in an easier chair than more of a desk chair that's meant for being focused on a surface.
And then I noticed there was also a filing cabinet in there, like a little side table filing cabinet. Does that need to stay?
I do need to be able to file papers, for the house and the business and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I need a file cabinet. It doesn't necessarily have to be that one, but.
Got it.
And my diffuser, I guess, would have to stay in here. I live by my diffuser.
Yes, of course. We have to have that.
I'd like to keep my money tree too. I kind of like him.
Yes. Yeah. And I noticed you have a closet behind you. What do you keep in that closet?
I keep my backup essential oils and empty roller bottles and products. I keep business supplies like papers,
okay,
that kind of stuff in there.
And is there an outlet in that closet?
No.
Okay. So one of the things I'm gonna screen share so that I can take a look at your space. So what I'm looking at for everyone that's not able to see this is when you come into the room, there's 2 French doors, which is great because and I noticed that your French doors are clear of any obstacles. So that's really wonderful. We don't want to have any obstacles. Sometimes when people have French doors, they will keep one door open where they enter and exit, and then they block the other door. And so whenever I see that, I'm like, okay, we're blocking some opportunities from coming in, but it looks like you've been able to keep that space nice and open. So when you come in, there is a double hung window straight ahead, and then to the left is the desk, and then to the left of the desk is a bookcase, and the bookcase is built in. Yeah.
Behind the desk, yes. The book that was built in. So
yeah. So that's going to definitely.
And it does not have adjustable shelves. That's the one thing I wish they had done, but so I have to sort of finagle a little bit.
Okay. And then I also see that you have spotlighted the ceiling fan, which we'll get into. That's always a thing. And then we've got, just when you come into the French doors to the left, she's got her printer. And your printers, that's your printer, right? Printer and scanner.
That's my printer, scanner. And then I have like my, sort of my dream board, goal board right there above it, just to be able to look to the side and always remind myself what I'm focusing on.
There's a storage unit just below that. It's an open unit of more storage. You've got your shredder there, the fountain, and then going to the next space. This is kind of the overall look of the room. The bookcase, of course, we'll address that. And then we've got the closet with the bifold doors. And then the chair and that wall there. Okay, so the first initial thing I'm looking at is I like hiding my printers. Now, your printer is actually not that ugly. I've seen some that are just horrendous. Yours is much more streamlined. There's no outlets in that bookcase, are there?
No, well, there is, but you can only access the way they built it, you can only access one, and there's no way to chase it up, and it's not deep enough for the printer.
Got it. Okay.
Either.
So typically what I like to do, and this might be something that you might want to do later on down the road if you wanted to hide the printer, is I like putting printers in the closets. So what I usually would do is have an electrician basically put an outlet into that closet for the printer, for the shredder, that kind of thing. And then in the closets, I don't know what the inside of your closet is. Is it just like a pole that goes across with like a shelf above it?
I think I sent you a picture of it. I might have sent it later. It's got a wire metal rack that goes across the top that would have had hanging in it.
Oh, okay.
And then I've got like wire shelving and some other open shelving in there that to be able to set things on and organize things.
Okay.
But it's all like temporary things. Again, using what we had.
Yeah. So it sounds like that closet's a bit more organized than like a typical one that I usually will see when I go into somebody's house. So that's great. So ideally I would put the printer in there. I'd put the shredder in there. There's some other items that are in your bookcase that I would do a purge on. That's always the first thing, especially when we work with offices, is just getting rid of things that you are not using. So there's like a black box down at the bottom there that has a plastic lid. Does that just have like old files or?
Actually, that is ready for filing now. That was for tax season, for when I was working on the taxes, and I just needed to be able to pull recently some stuff to take to a financial person because of the estate. And so it just has not gone back to storage. But that's each year when I'm preparing taxes, I just pull it out, work on it, throw the papers in there when I'm not working on it, and then when I'm done, it goes away.
System. I love that system. Okay, so that's going to be released. So that's going to go away. So I'm going to use your closet as a space to store the things that are not pretty, the essentials, the things that you don't use a lot. I know you might be printing, but for me, like I even have my printer completely separate out of my house and down in the little ADU because there's just something about it. I'm just like, and I'll just run down there and I'll just be like my exercise for the day. So I'm like zipping back and forth, but I would put it in the closet if that's something that you could do later on with, getting an electrician to put an outlet in there for you. I really want to address the bookcase. So this bookcase, I feel like has such great potential for showcasing your essential oils. I would love for this to look like a boutique space. So like if you were to go into a beautiful wellness crystal shop and they have, the shelves that are just dressed with magic. So creating little vignettes with your oils. Maybe you group certain oils for, calmness, and you group some other ones for inspiration and energy. And then you have, I don't know if you have crystals, but you could create, vignettes with these beautiful oils. So it looks like something out of a showroom. So that I feel like also when you're coming in, you're like, oh my gosh, like I have all my tools. They're right here. They're beautiful and they're fun. It'd be I just feel like it'd be a more of an uplifting way to come into your space and feel good. I also really like the look of empty bottles and your supplies. So maybe creating one shelf where it's just like, where you're merchandising. So you have all the same bottle lined up. and then you have another, container. They're all lined up. So it just looks like a beautiful merchandised sort of I wouldn't say warehouse, but it's a storage place, and you're dressing them up. So they're not like, they're a lot of times you put them in the closet or whatever, or they're in a box and they're just like, it's overstock of stuff. But you can use that because the other thing with them is it's a repetition, and they look pretty when you, again, it's all about merchandising and making those it's functional and it's aesthetically pleasing. So I would even recommend just going like on Pinterest and, looking up merchandising or boutique merchandise or boutique shops or wellness shops or, spas that have done this. And creating, I just see that as being a really pretty showcase. And you can do the same thing with like if you have books, stacking books and putting different objects. And you can also, it looks like you have some plants in there, so you can accessorize with the plants. You can even add more. I can even just see like some plants like, draping down and creating the softness in that space. So that bookcase is beautiful to do all of that in. To the left of your desk, you have a cork board with some papers that are clipped on there. Is that just like reminders, or how do you use that?
When I pull cards, whenever I feel the motivation, I'll put them up there just as a reminder of sort of a focus or something to consider. I have just sort of business reminders. I have a physical to-do list of things I'm working on the estate. I have a strengths builder statement just to remind me about who I am and that I need to stay. So it's sort of my immediate reference board, but it's something I change up a fair amount. It's sort of a space that fluxes.
Cool. So I would love to, and you could still use that space in that way, but I would love to create some sort of design around it. So, they have like those hexagon cork boards there, and then you can like place them around. And I would also maybe see like a little shelf or something there. I want some depth and some variety of sizes. So instead of just having one little square, it just looks a little bit sad. So I want to create something that maybe goes up the wall or trails down. And again, Pinterest is going to be your best friend with finding inspiration for, I would look at like bulletin walls, or what else would I write in? The other thing might be inspirational office, or just look and see, because there's so many different wall things that you can get. And I can also see like plant. I like to incorporate a lot of plants. So you can even have an object that holds a plant that again is draping down with foliage. And then I love that you pull cards every day. You can even create like maybe a little altar in that bookcase that's surrounding by your topic of that month, or your card of that month, or the card of the day, or whatever it is, and just create something in that space, which I think could be really beautiful. Are you wanting to paint in this room, or has it recently been painted? Or
no, it definitely is up next for painting. I have been very anti-pink after growing up living in a parsonage, and everybody heard there's a little girl. Oh, great, the paint of my room pink. But for some reason, I keep thinking like a pink or a blush peach or something that's got sort of a warm, soft glow, but I don't know. It might be wrong. I guess that's why I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, pink is the color of compassion. It's the color of comfort. And yeah, I just keep hearing the word of compassion, and also, of love. And so that might be really soothing and healing for you to incorporate that into the room. And there are some gorgeous light, it's almost like a white with just that hue of pink in it. So it's not like baby pink. We don't want that for sure. We don't want bubblegum pink. We don't want bismol pink. We don't want so really light tint of the pink, I think would be great for sure. And then in the bookcase, you that blue would correspond to the pink, or you can put it into the bookcase itself. You could do a different color in the bookcase. You can do an ombre effect in the bookcase on the back wall there. So if you did want to go with like a darker pink and go all the way up to a lighter pink, or the pinkish rust hues, that would be really pretty in there too. And then your ceiling, I would paint as well. And some people will paint the ceiling either white or the color of the walls. I think if you painted it the color of the walls, I think that would be really a pretty way to do that. And then going up to the ceiling, we do have that ceiling fan. So are you wanting to, I know you said that you like having the fan because of in Florida, you need the circulation.
Yes. It's not a ceiling hugger per se. And with this only, having, 9 or 10 foot ceilings, it's rather low, especially with that light kit. And it needs to be up against the ceiling and a flatter light kit. Because there are times that I do need that ceiling light just at night to be able to cast a better light to work and things like that. I'm sorry, the kid stars to balance out the weight of the fan blades, and I don't think I captured it in the photo.
Yeah, I don't see them.
But it's like, no, not me.
Yeah, it's just a little dated. It looks like a little girl's, bedroom ceiling fan. So, but in the meantime, I noticed that one of those bulbs is not on.
Right.
So I would
just burned out. So I need to change that. I know, because that's not good.
Let's change that. And you can also, and that might even be an LED. And if it's not, I would change them out to LEDs just for energy purposes until you find a new ceiling fan. And this is the only real light in the room that's permanent besides like the little table lamp or floor lamp that you have in there.
That's the only fixed one. So I have sort of a soft one right as you come in the French doors. I have a light that I can swing around that's by the gold chair to be able to read.
Got it.
And then I have a desk lamp and, of course, my ring light.
Yeah.
For being able to be online.
Got it. Yeah. So here's another future thing. If you got the electrician coming out to do an outlet in the closet, you could also have them. I would put in 4 cans in each of the corners. In the future, I know you're looking at immediate things, but in the future, that's something that I would incorporate. And then the ceiling fan, yeah, you can get something that's less profile. So, gosh, what's the name of that fan company? I can't remember, but Circle Lighting sells them. It's a certain brand, but if you go to circlelighting.com, they have nice looking ceiling fans. There's another place online called Fan Diego. They're here in San Diego, but I think they ship everywhere. And then Restoration Hardware also has some ceiling fans that look nice.
Okay.
We're looking just at a cleaner look. You can even go to like a 3-blade. Typically, feng shui wise with the blades, we want to stay away from things that are too sharp. They're very knife-like, right? So we want to kind of do a softer blade.
In the kitchen and family room that are right off of here, they look more like wood palm fronds, if that makes sense. And I thought about sort of trying to find something that was smaller, but more along that sort of more organic looking line.
Yeah, you can do that. I'll have to, but if go to Circle Lighting for sure. And then I'll give you the link to the other fan company that I really like.
Okay.
They're simple and they're pretty fans. And I'm not a huge ceiling fan person, but there are times when we have to have them, and that's definitely something that you're going to need. So we want to make sure that the room is comfortable for you. I'm also looking at the window. Have you thought about doing any window coverings on that?
It has one of those cellulose drop down blinds on it. Yeah. It just is up because right now the sun is not blaring in, and so I'm not getting heat. I've thought about putting up a curtain just to add a little softness around it, but I was sort of waiting to see where I wanted to take the room. And I would probably put the rod fairly close to the ceiling and have full length down. I'd probably keep the cellular just because there's times it's nice to be able to just... Plus it adds a little extra insulation.
Oh, they're great. Yeah, so I would definitely keep the cellular shade. That's definitely a plus in that room. So so let's talk about the desk so that we can talk about the placement of everything. So your desk is a bit too small. That almost looks like maybe not even quite 2 feet deep by 4 feet wide, maybe a bit longer. And then I noticed there's drawers. So do you need drawers in the desk as well?
Yeah, these are not the greatest functioning. I'd like to have more so that like some of the things like that I do use fairly often, like the stapler and such, that I could actually fit them in here, and the stapler doesn't fit in here. So,
got it. So yeah, so you could keep the desk situation where it is and just get a larger desk. I would lose that little filing cabinet that's to the left there. If there's some way that you can maybe put them in a filing system, like the totes things that you had with the other ones, and maybe just keep it in the closet or be able to just eliminate it somehow. I don't know how often you need to access those files. Is it pretty often or yeah?
Like daily.
Oh, okay. So we don't want to totally eliminate that. So maybe there's a desk where we can put like the filing system just underneath it. They do have, I know like IKEA has some that can fit underneath the desk. So then it's kind of tucked away and then you have your large desk space to do the things that you need. And I know you need drawers. So I would look for a larger desk. The other thing I would recommend, if there's the filing system that might have a little drawer at the top that you can use for your pencils and that kind of thing, is to even just get like a small dining table. You know, sometimes those will come in a better size. Just being really creative with the desk options if you can't find the right size desk, like if it's actually a desk.
Okay.
So you can go bigger. I would, if you're going to go bigger, you might want to look at putting that chair, if you don't want to replace it, in the corner, kind of facing into the room. And then eliminating that filing cabinet that's next to it, and just maybe have like a little small like cocktail end table that's enough to hold a little drink, or something small, maybe 12 inches or smaller. And I would do something that's round just to soften it. Since we're eliminating the tape or the filing drawer, you would want a floor lamp there instead. And you might have a floor lamp in some other room of your house that you're not using to use as a reading lamp for you.
Okay.
And then you mentioned the rug. I agree. I think having a rug that's larger, that's going to be more of a rug that's going to anchor the entire room. And then of course you can have one of those plastic, or they even make them out of glass, pads that go underneath your desk chair if you've got a chair with casters on it.
I'm thinking of actually changing, to be real honest, the dining chairs I have that I got from Wayfair are really, really comfortable, and they're easy to move around, and they don't have wheels. I mean, they've got legs, but I've thought about just getting like a plush like dining chair and using it, because then it would also be something that is easy to move around and have used for other things, I guess.
Yeah, I love it. So yeah, if you do that, you don't need one of those plastic, pads for your wheels. So that would be really nice. And it would be great to get a larger rug in there, just to kind of make the room together. Like, it's so split up right now. I just feel like you have your desk and chairs over there, and there's like a very clear divide of, a rug under one space and a rug under the other space. I want to connect them all together so it feels more cohesive. And I'm looking at your room. It looks like an 8x10 rug would fit in there without knowing the dimensions, but I would just double check. You want to have at least, a good 12 inches all the way around so that it's not completely filling up the room. I'd say 6 to 12 inches, somewhere in there of, showing.
Right.
And then, yes, you can do the window panels and then just make sure that the panels are sitting just outside the window. Or maybe, covering up the
trim.
Yeah,
whole,
exactly. And then and I don't know, this is something you might have to play with. You could also shift your desk so that your back is against the wall where your corkboard is and you're facing out. But that means your chair would have to move somewhere else. And I don't know how that's gonna.
Yeah, I played around, and to be honest, when I'm seated at the desk here, since I can see outdoors and see like my neighbor's hibiscus bush, and I can see through the French doors, I feel like I can tell when things are coming at me. And I did after my husband died, we moved his desk out. I brought a chair in here and just kept moving it around, going, no.
Yeah.
This, at least for now, it feels about right. I mean, I've thought about sort of angling sideways, but then that creates the whole, then what do I do with the trail of wires to plug in the computer? And
yeah, I feel like you really have probably this room pretty dialed in as far as your positioning. So then I would just maybe measure and see how big of first put like the chair in the corner. If you're going to keep that chair, you could go smaller with the chair, but put it in the corner and just kind of see how much room you have to go as big with the desk that feels comfortable.
Okay.
for you and eliminate, like I said, just taking out that filing cabinet. And then going back over to your printer, if we put that printer away, I would love to see like a pretty chest there, more of a solid furniture piece, something that looks not like an office, something that you might see like in a living room or even in a bedroom, and then creating a vignette there with, like a table lamp. And then maybe we take your vision board and we put it horizontal, or, and maybe it has like a frame around it. That's something that looks a bit more, not so officey, I guess is
Okay.
what I'm saying. Or it could even be another cork situation with a frame around it. And then I would do like a plant on the chest again and make that look more like something that you would see not necessarily in an office. And you could have the fountain on there, and then it would eliminate a lot of the sort of clutter that's underneath the printer. Because a lot of times that too is like, I know it's stuff that we need, but you might be able to condense it or eliminate some things, and then that will also let your eye kind of rest, so you don't feel like things are so scattered or there's so much new or there's so much happening. Because I really want to create a space that's soothing, that keeps you focused. Because sometimes when we have things everywhere, our brains are kind of like, oh, I gotta do that, I gotta do that. It's like this constant reminder of I gotta do that, and then we kind of get off focus and scattered.
Okay.
And then same thing, when you come in, you have right next to the chair, there's like a bookcase or like a shelving unit that has books in it. I would even take that out and put those books in your bookcase and rearrange the books and dress them, or even eliminate any of those books that you aren't using. And then there's 3 pictures on the wall. That wall that you have there, that's a very, very important wall, because that's the wall that you look at when you're at your desk and you see it every day. I envision that having like one large thing. So if those are photos that you've taken, or is that what those are?
Those were photos my husband took.
Yeah. Do you still have the files for those? Or the negatives or anything?
I honestly don't know.
You might want to, like, if there's a favorite one of those, I could see you going to like a place that does canvas or photos, and enlarge it and make it one large piece.
Okay.
And you can do what's called a floating. You can keep it as a canvas and it's just wrapped. If you wanted to add a frame around it, there's a style called a floating frame, and it's basically one that goes around. It looks like the canvas is floating inside of that frame. I think would really clean it up, and it would be really cool to have one of his photos in there, to inspire you and to connect you with him. And maybe you will have the file, or maybe there's something they can do. I don't know, but I think that would be a really neat feature. And like I said, large. So even like I'm envisioning that being like probably like a 3x4, 3 feet high by 4 feet wide. You might want to just double check, but I want to take up a lot of that wall there.
Okay.
And that's really all you need on that wall.
Well, and I could even move those someplace else, and if there's
something else.
So I can play with that. I mean, that's the one nice thing about, I move paintings around in my house. Like most years I go through and I take down a majority and go, okay, this needs to move here now. So
shift it a little bit. Yeah. And I think also moving that bookcase situation will also open up energetically some energy coming into the space. I think it'll feel a bit more expansive and less. So I'm really about eliminating things that we don't need to have in this space, just to create an atmosphere that's supportive. Do you have any other questions?
I'm sure I do, but I can't think of them right now.
Send me an email if you get stuck.
Okay, will.
Or text or whatever, or if you're in, the store and you're like, is this what you're talking about? And I would love to see like and I would just go on Pinterest. Pinterest is a great space.
Oh yeah, I have a pin board that's just for this room. So it's a lot of fun.
Just merchandising. I just see that bookcase having so much potential for merchandising and showcasing your oils and your decks and any other things that you have. All right. Well, you'll have to keep me posted.
Oh, I will. I'll send you stuff along the way.
Fantastic. And like I said, if you get stuck, you let me know.
Will do.
And I'll come in, see what I can help you with. All right, JoAnn, thank you so much for letting us in your sacred space and sharing, being so vulnerable and sharing your story. And I just see you being so, this room as being a space of power and tons of potential for sure. I can just tell. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Holistic Interior Design Business podcast. If it's one that you have been enjoying, please share with anyone else that you think can benefit from this knowledge, and leave us a 5-star review that helps us get seen and found by other new and aspiring interior designers. And if you're looking for mentorship, I invite you to join our club here at the Design Coven. It's a bridge between school and real life interior design. We get in much deeper there. We have virtual and in-person events, so everyone is welcome. You don't need to have a design degree to be part of it, just an interest in holistic interior design. I also want to thank our editor, Marcy Ferry, Blake Ferris, for all of her special help with the podcast, our social media posts, newsletter, and lastly, Kinseth Thibodeau, who is our music composer. Until next time, be well, and we will see each other soon.